Question 5 asks us to test 100 people for a kind of disease. And for us to test each person one by one, then we'll have to do 100 tests. So another approach is proposed here, and that is to divide 100 people into 10 groups with 10 people in each group, and then we test that group. So let's take a look here. There will be 10 groups. So that's at least 10 tests that we're going to have to do for each group. And if a group tests positive, then we'll have to test all 10 people in the group. And that is to say 10 more tests for each positive group. And so this question is practically asking us to find out how many positive groups will there be on average. So we have to find out the probability for a group to get positive based on the probability that we already know, and that is to say that is for one person to be sick or not sick. So let's take a look at the scenario in each group. So there are 10 people in each group. If all of them are negative, then the result will be negative. But if there's one person that is positive, it will be the group result will be positive too. What is easy for us to calculate here is the probability for a group to be negative, because there's only one scenario, and that is for all 10 people to stay negative. And because, primarily those events are independent, like a person getting sick does not affect the probability of another person getting sick. So we're going to just simply multiply 0.9 10 times, and that gives us the probability for all 10 people in this group to be negative. And that roughly give us 0.3487. So that is actually the probability for the group to test negative. And the other side of that will be for the group to test positive. And so we can have the result 0.65 roughly, if you will. And so now we have found out the probability for a group to test positive. What we can do here is to calculate the number of positive groups. Now that we have the probability. So the expectation will be the probability for a group to be positive and times the total number of groups. And that gives us 6.5 groups. And we mentioned this earlier. If one group tests positive, then we'll have to do another 10 tests. So the second round test, the expectation of the second round test would be the number of positive groups times 10, which is 65. And then we'll have to include the 10 initial tests, and that gives us 75 tests